experiences.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, one of the biggest things, even with Pi, is a principle of just inclusivity, right? And the idea that crypto is such a multifaceted technology, right? It hits on everything, right? Like, politics, economics, computer science, math, like markets, like literally everything, right? Everything. And so it's like we need people from all
social
over,
gatherings,
right?
Different platforms that people can actually interact with.
Yeah, it's the most basic things, most basic kind of foundations and threads of society, and that's why we need people from all corners of the world, to be able to come in and contribute to it.
So how did you get into cryptocurrency?
Oh, good question. So, my background has actually been pretty interesting. Like, I've done mostly trying to figure out, like, with all the big problems we have in the world today, right? We got major issues,
sure,
right? I don't think anyone's going to doubt that. And I've always been kind of looking for ways in which I could help people come together to basically better tackle those issues, right? So that nobody needs to go to sleep hungry, so that everybody gets the education that they need, right? Just basic, everyone can get the healthcare that they need, just basic kind of like,
bring it back to self-supporting communities instead of the Overwatch communities, right? The governed, so to speak. So governed and control are fine line right now.
Right? And so one thing that, has been a kind of common theme for me is that I've done a lot of kind of grassroots community organizing.
Oh my God.
Talking a little bit about how this kind of intersects with Pi, I mean, one of the big things for us, and it looks like this is kind of one of the motivations here as well, is like, crypto is it's a movement, and it's one in which we want the people that can most benefit, I think, are everyday people.
Yes,
everyday
absolutely.
people built Pi to be a cryptocurrency that would be just for everyday people. Because, Bitcoin and Litecoin, they've blazed the way, right? They've showed us the way forward.
Yes.
And at the same time, for the everyday Joe, when it comes to actually mining the currency and earning the currency, you either got to have like a computer science degree with like you got to set up like a rig.
You got to know tech.
You got to know tech. Right?
I'm a carpenter. I didn't know tech when I got into this.
Right.
I knew how to make a phone call.
Yeah, so that's one obstacle is tech. The next thing then is that if you don't want to have to mine it, then you got to pay for it. But that means like 4, 5, 6 months of rent.
Yes.
Right? For a single coin, for a single Bitcoin.
If you're going to buy a whole one.
If you're going to buy a whole one.
That's the beauty of this space, right?
Of course, you can get fractional amounts. But what I'm saying, man, is that in the early days of Bitcoin, when those folks were mining, they were basically mining 10 Bitcoin every 10 minutes for basically no money.
Right.
And so I want to be able to give everyday people also that same type of opportunity. And so that's why we built Pi. And we've now, speaking of this map, it's like we've got 1 million people around the world.
Oh, wow.
Over the course of the last 6 months that are now mining this currency basically from our mobile phone application, Pi Network.
Oh, wow.
And so it's very much kind of aligned with this idea of like, building a grassroots movement, and also creating ways in which everyday people can actually participate in that movement and drive that movement forward.
Yes.
So is it mining from your phone in terms kind of like Electronium, where it's more of a simulated mining and it's not actually calculating the hashes?
Yeah, so right now so this takes a little bit of a double click. So basically, in order to actually have this fully decentralized blockchain, which we're basically building, we're using a different type of consensus algorithm. It's actually based off of Stellar consensus protocol.
Nice.
Okay, gotcha.
I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically the way Stellar works is that instead of having to do proof of work mining, right, energy burn, essentially what people do there is you contribute information about who can be trusted in the world.
Right.
Okay, and it's a progressive voting process where you say, I only trust my mom and my aunt and my brother, and I'll only agree to transactions that they agree to. And then basically everybody comes on, they build their own quorums, right? And then that basically builds up into a trust graph. So right now, it is basically more of a simulation, right? As people are contributing information about who can and can't be trusted, but then you're also generating real information that will basically feed the consensus algorithm. It's going to be like you can think of it as like a globally or community stewarded trust graph that we can all use to basically say, okay, who can and can't write transactions to this ledger.
Now you guys are non-funded, right? I mean, you're no ICO.
No, we haven't done an ICO.
Okay.
We've actually a lot of the work to date has just been self-funded.
Oh, we can relate. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
People will say a lot of things to get you to join via their referral code, and that is the way that they make more cryptocurrency. There's another example of this in the US. If you've ever heard of MLMs or multi-level marketing, in my very early videos in Pi, if you go back and watch them, I was pretty concerned about this, and I can't tell you how much I hate the business model of MLMs. I think they're predatory. The Pi cryptocurrency, at least allegedly, the founders say, is going to be around sort of a stellar-based consensus system. In other words, unlike Bitcoin, where the consensus is built by mining and hash power and solving complex blocks, Pi works by having millions and millions of users active in the ecosystem, all confirming checks and saying, yes, this is valid, no, it's not valid, to know what's right and wrong. This is a version of what's called BFT. And so I'm not going to cover all of that today. It's way too technical, but you should just know at a high level. There are very, very few cryptocurrencies out there with anywhere near 10 million users. But we need to grow it. 10 million is not enough. We need 50 million. We need 100 million. You may think I'm crazy, but I'm certainly not. You go look through all of this. One of the things they talk about, and I don't want to go through this line by line. I don't want to turn this into a big lecture itself. But one of the things they say, we need to go beyond being a cryptocurrency and really start thinking about ourselves as a social media platform. If we do that, or some kind of large user base like Amazon or something. So they talk about this. Facebook has 2.7 billion users. WeChat, 1.17 billion users. Alibaba, 720 million. Amazon, 150 million active users. 10 million doesn't sniff those numbers, nowhere close. And I've said that before. I said that in my 3 key things that the Pi team needs to do to be successful. I've said that in some of the early videos. The reason people think Pi is a scam is because there's no cryptocurrency that they see. There's no wallet. There's no keys they control. There's no way that they can trade and sell. It feels and looks like a scam. I understand that argument. It's a wrong argument, but I understand it. And so this is really good. They're talking about their plans for all of this and some big pieces inside of all this. One is they're pushing their roadmap. In other words, the direction of where they want the product to go. Within about a year, their goal is to produce a wallet and an ecosystem within a year that we can start trading. Guys, that's a big, big deal. I love hearing that. If Pi fails, no big deal. Let's learn from those failures, let's take advantage of them, and let's go and iterate in a better and unique and different way. Also, maybe Pi will succeed, but not be like a stellar success. Well, that's okay too. I mean, I'm happy for that. And then there's the eventuality that Pi is a raging success, and the value takes off when public wallets are released, and there's exchanges that are marketing and selling it, and a vibrant goods and selling ecosystem inside of it. I mean, yeah, it's ambitious, but I think it's exciting. And guys, if there's one thing I've learned, to get a little philosophical with you for just a minute, life's about the journey. It's not about the destination. That's why I don't get into things like, what's Pi going to be worth? Everyone wants to know my answer to that. I'm not going to give you my answer to it, because that is not what the journey is about. The journey is about, let's see what this Pi thing can do.